Hey, it's 14 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to Island Tea. Well, I'm alone at the moment. Hortensia is she couldn't make it today. But we gotta get the show on the road. It's on February 13th, the day before. You want to call this Valentine's Eve? That might work. I don't know. Saying good morning to all the listeners. I haven't seen anyone come in the chat yet. So, but good morning to all the people who hold us down every day. I had to swim my way here. Actually, it was pretty rainy. And that comes with its hazards. You have some drivers who they drive, and it seemed as though someone went past me, and I didn't realize until afterwards. I don't know what I think I might have been fighting with my umbrella. Someone went past me and must have splashed my left leg, right? And I didn't realize until I got onto the square. I said, "Why is my foot my foot and leg, why are my pants that wet? It shouldn't be that wet, But so I figured out that someone probably almost gave me a second shower this morning, right? I was trying to avoid a shower using the umbrella, but someone decided to give me a bath instead. So drivers, one of the things you need to do is when you're driving and there are puddles. There are puddles that you have to traverse. Please maybe slow down a little bit, or if it's possible, kind of swerve around the puddles. I don't mean swerve in a crazy fashion. I mean, just kind of swerve, do a subtle swerve to avoid drenching pedestrians. All right. Yeah. So it's let's see. It's another day. It's Love Week. Yesterday we had this thing going. Me and Contentu, we were talking about the fact that we were trying to get from people, what their first dances were and all that. So if anyone wants to tell me, anyone who's married, oh, you could even call me and tell me your favorite love song. Put it in the chat. Your favorite love song, also love songs. Because there are going to be songs that do something for you, that do something to you when you hear them. All the songs that the songs that if you're someone of few words, there might be this song that just says pretty much everything you want to say, and that's a song you call on to be your ambassador, your romantic lobbyist, so to speak. Yeah. So if you have anything like that, just let me know. I'm and saying special good morning to Dave Livingstone. So just letting you guys know that let me see. I think we mentioned that the agriculture exhibition that's going to be happening in May. I think they have sign-ups going on now at the moment. This would be a good time to mention that again. Yeah, you have sign-ups for. I think you can do it at the public market. You can do it at Ministry of Agriculture and various places. Fisheries as well. So if you're thinking about maybe exhibiting at the national. I don't know why don't they should just go back to call it the National Agricultural Exhibition, because that's what it is. It's not agro open house. I don't know. That works too, but I remember back in the days when it used to be called the National Agricultural Exhibition, which is the same thing. So if you want to be an exhibitor at the agro open house, all you got to do is go to one of the agricultural outlets. That would be any agricultural. It could be maritime affairs on the Bay Road, the Newtown Bay Road, fisheries, Ministry of Agriculture. You guys know the drill. Having a little trouble here in my throat. Trying to clear my throat and stuff. Okay, so where was I? So I saw there's a story here. A deer was struck by a vehicle on the Sir Kennedy Simmons Highway on the Southeast Peninsula. Drivers, please exercise caution when traveling through the area as wildlife crossings are common. Slow down and stay alert to help protect both animals and road users. So I'm just wondering if you guys know that deer are edible. That's where we get the meat that's called venison. And one of the things I kind of tabled and floated was the idea of the government maybe starting a deer preserve somewhere else on the island where maybe you could go and look at them, pet them, and then have have a small kind of small batch venison farming. Where we could sell venison for local consumption and for the tourists at a premium. For the tourists at a premium because they're accustomed. That's one of the things they hunt during hunting season in the U.S. and Canada. They go and they shoot deer, moose, stuff like that. They fill up their freezers. They have barbecues. So it occurred to me that that would be something. Because one of the things that I thought might be a good idea actually was if, given that the deer on the Southeast Peninsula, I mean, they're pretty much, I would imagine they're pretty much all related, right? So all you got to do is maybe bring in some breeding stock to diversify the gene pool, right? So you bring in a male and a female, or maybe two of each, and you kind of start to preserve somewhere else on the island, and take it from there. But then no one listens to me anyway. Yeah. Anyways, so in other local news, another petition doing big things over in the UK. Not the UK, in the US. Sorry, in the UK. This is Naoka Gums. She's actually my first cousin. Actually, we pretty much grew up in the same house, more or less. She's an architect, artist, and a steam trailblazer. And this is a story that was written. Now, I should let you guys know she just launched a book. She went through some challenges during COVID, right? And a lot of people lost their jobs and that kind of thing. And she wrote a book called When the Unemployment Runs Out. And the book basically gives a lot of tips on, surviving through hard times and making do with very little and so on. The book is also available on Amazon. So anyone is interested. There were two book launch parties, you could say. One was held at Alfredo's, and the other one was held at um, the Irish Town Community Center, on Connell Street. And we're all very proud of it. But I just want to read this story. This is the first in a five-part series celebrating women advancing in STEAM. Now, STEAM is science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. According to the National Center for Education Statistics, STEM careers offer women lower unemployment and higher earnings, providing pathways to self-sufficiency. Today, we spotlight Nayoka Gums, a woman whose diverse career embodies the power of STEAM. Now, this article was written by Tanya Sims. This would be an American reporter. Nayoka's journey began on the historically rich islands of St. Kitts and Nevis. At just 16, she left the Caribbean for New York City to study architecture at the City College of New York. Her move required resilience and vision. I wanted to design spaces that looked beautiful and served people, she recalled. While pursuing architecture, Nayoka realized that excelling in the field required more than just creative design. It demanded a deep understanding of construction, and she joined the Non-Traditional Employment for Women, NEW, in 2003, gaining hands-on experience that would prove essential in her male dominated industry. With over 25 years of experience, Nayoko is now a leader in construction project management. She has overseen major initiatives like the $150 million NYCHA Comprehensive Modernization Program at Tot Hill Houses and a $40 million Hurricane Sandy Recovery Project. Her work includes modernizing infrastructure, implementing new heating and power systems, and mentoring minority and women owned businesses. She did talk about, I'm wondering if that was a project that just got mentioned. And she did say at one of the release parties, the book launch parties, that she was now involved with a project where I think a government funded apartment project, a big project, and modernization of a lot of government housing and so on. Her impressive credentials include holding a New York City Department of Buildings Construction Superintendent license, underscoring her emphasis on site safety. An architect is not just a designer but a master builder, Nayoko explained. My work blends creativity, technical knowledge, and leadership to create lasting change. Beyond construction, Nayoko is a founding member of the Liamiga Uali Arts Foundation, LOAF, a non-profit organization championing the arts for community upliftment in New York City and the Caribbean. LOAF fosters creativity, cultural connection, and opportunities for underserved communities. She also teaches Beyond the Tools, Soft Skills for Hard Hats, a course designed to help women navigate challenges in male-dominated industries. Her creative spirit continues to shine through her business, Dope Arts LLC, which she founded in 2005. Blending design and storytelling, Dope Arts produces visual art and community initiatives. Her debut book, The Day After the Unemployment Runs Out, a survival guide for those facing financial hardship, was inspired by her personal experience during the Great Recession. The book offers practical advice for budgeting, accessing aid, and building resilience. This book is about hope and empowerment, she said. It's a guide to navigating financial hardship with dignity and determination. Nayoko's story is a testament to what's possible for young black girls with courage, vision, and a commitment to excellence. Her advice to the next generation: your journey is yours. Don't let anyone limit your vision. Believe in your power to create, transform, and lead. Follow Nayoka's inspiring journey on Instagram at Nayoka, that's Nyoka, Musango, Facebook, and LinkedIn to learn more about her work, book, and advocacy efforts. Stay tuned for more stories of remarkable women in STEAM. I'm going to have her on at some point. She's kind of busy at the moment, but yeah, I'm planning to have her on. Yes. So, yeah, there's that story. And the former UN ambassador, Neris Dockery, she's been appointed the Secretary General of the St. Kitts and Nevis National Commission for UNESCO. So she'll be in charge of UNESCO activities here in St. Kitts and Nevis. Those of you would know that that was a job that was held by Antonia Maynard at one point, right? So yeah. Also, the Central Service Center is ranked number 1 in St. Kitts and Nevis by Sol Excellence Program. You know, the gas station at the bottom of Victoria, on the corner of Victoria and Keon. Yeah, so they won an award. There's a picture here with Shalita and the gang holding up a check. Let me see how much that check is. I have to go check Shalita afterwards. Let me see. How much is that check? It's I'm just kidding. Anyway, it's $875 US. That's all. You can do better than that. But anyway, so it's nice to know that Shalita is working with a workforce that is committed to great customer service. So I want to say thank you to Shalita and the gang at the Central Service Center. Someone needs to explain to me why some gas stations. I actually know the reason, but just to be devil's advocate and maybe to start a conversation, if you guys want to have a conversation, why some gas stations, we know Hosford's famously doesn't I remember one time I came home and I was studying, and I was shocked to discover that they don't take cards for gas. And then then I found out the West Side gas station stopped taking cards, the Central Service Center doesn't either. And on the face of it, it seems like a convenience, right? An inconvenience, sorry, because you're thinking, well, isn't it better if you have as much non-cash transactions as possible, because that might arguably make the gas station safer. That's how I see it. But I've asked I've asked the workers up at hospitals many times. They didn't know what the reason was. I've asked at Central Service Center. They didn't know what the reason was. I asked someone else who actually gave me an answer. They said something about it not being worth the trouble if Sol is taking. No, is it Sol or the government? The government is taking a certain amount out of the transaction, and apparently um, it doesn't seem to work for them, for some of the operators. So I don't know. So I'd like to hear what you guys may have to say about that, if that's something you might want to weigh in on. But once again, congratulations to Shalita. I am sure the fact that they won this probably points to the fact that, in spite of that one particular inconvenience, they probably do a pretty good job with customer service. So I salute the Central Service Center. Um, what else is going on here? Let's see. Let's see. There's a whole bunch of things that we always put here in the chat. Good morning, Cortencia. Um, no, she had to do some stuff today. So, I think I wanted. This was something I wanted to play. Bob Marley's birthday, I think, was February 6th, and there was this thing I wanted to play where Mia Motley, the Prime Minister of Barbados. It's a very conscious lady, I gotta say, extremely conscious. I wish we could see more of that in our leaders here. But we got a phone call. Caller, go right ahead.
Hi, morning.
Hey, what's up? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all right.
Mm-hmm.
That story on the gas station, it's. I always wondered about that as well, because it seems like forever that other countries have been doing this, using cards to pay for things like gas, and I don't understand why it hasn't come here. As a matter of fact, I recall, if you're talking about customer service, I recalled a Canadian friend coming here, and this was about at least 10, 15 years ago, coming here and thinking that they do accept cards, and was told, no, they don't. But the service station, it was Salto, actually gave them the gas. They had a rental, gave them the gas, and said, bring back the cash later. And she thought that was amazing. I mean, who does that? Huh? Will actually give you the gas, having not paid for it until you come back later.
I hope she went back, right? Because I expect you.
Oh, yes, she did.
I expect you to have upstanding friends.
Well, I guess that's one way of putting it. Or maybe because I was in the car as well. But the fact is, when things like this happen, I would imagine that something like that is noteworthy, and really that goes above and beyond, and should be recognized. Because, and in particular, that particular service station that got the award, it's not. One can argue that in current day traffic, that is not the best location for a service station.
Oh, which one? Which one?
You're not. wasn't it the one by the traffic?
Yes, it's funny you said that. I was thinking because when I saw the story yesterday, I was thinking the same thing. I said,
Yeah,
regardless of what anyone says, that is really not. But you
it's
realize,
not an ideal location.
yes,
But really and truly, if you go inside to get something, well, I don't know if it had to do. It's not that I go there very often for that, but the attendants inside were particularly helpful, right?
Yeah.
So maybe that also accounts for it. Right?
Yeah.
But,
So I mean, it has to be they're probably doing a pretty good job making up for the
yeah,
fact that they
yeah.
don't take debit cards and credit cards and so on.
Yeah, but it's strange that no gas station is in St. Kitts.
Oh no, some
I
do,
guess it's
some
the same
do,
in Nevis.
some do. The Gillard gas station does.
Or takes credit cards?
Yeah, of course. Up
Oh.
at up at
Okay, that does.
yeah. So actually,
Oh,
when I
wasn't
did,
aware of that.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I think I discovered that West Side took cards up until about a month ago.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
they used to take cards, but I went there about 2 weeks ago. Not 2 weeks, last week, and they said they don't take. I think it was last week Sunday. Yeah, last week Sunday, and they said they don't take cards anymore. And I said, well, what's the reason? And some of the workers even expressed some frustration and bewilderment at because in my mind, and I'm sure in most layman's mind, it's like, well, like I said earlier, isn't that a convenience, especially a
Yeah.
safety convenience as far as like robberies and stuff, right? You have to argue that it, but I was told that maybe the let's say whatever surcharge that is taken makes it not worth it.
Oh.
I don't remember who told me. It was somebody
Because
who would know.
I wondered too if it was an attempt to make the traffic into the gas station flow faster, because I don't know, there is a little lapse in using a card, I guess.
Not really.
as opposed to
They've
cash,
gotten
but-
a little better because they have wireless. I mean, up at Gillard, they have a wireless. In fact, I think those people had a wireless thing as well at one point. West
So
Side.
you can do it right at the point of sale.
Yeah,
at
right.
At the
Yeah,
pump?
that cabinet between the pumps where they keep oil, like
Okay. Oil and so
they
on.
have
Yeah,
it
all
right on top there. It's a handheld.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a handheld, and so.
Yeah.
So I remember
Okay.
telling my wife. My wife was with me when we went to West Side, and they said they stopped taking cards. I remember when we pulled into Gillard's on the way home. I said I said to her, "Well, you realize that she is probably going to benefit from that. I figure she's going to benefit from West Side dropping the card service, the card option. Because
I would imagine so.
Yeah, because
Although again, if you're talking location, that's
also an iffy
dicey
location as well. That's a bad location
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. But I mean, you would think, especially since you're heading towards automation and so on, that like for instance in the other countries, in the metropolitan countries, you can use a card at the machine. It's totally self-service.
Yeah,
essentially.
you can stick the machine. Do you know
Right.
Nevis had that before us?
Oh, they did.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a gas station over
So
there.
they still have it, or they
I
abandoned
don't
it
know
too?
if they do, but I remember I'm sure at least 15 years ago, I was like, really? I said, they don't even have. Yeah.
Yeah. But you'd think that something like that would have been, I mean, you're making it much easier for people, for one thing. And secondly, I would think it's safer.
Absolutely. That's the first thing I thought.
Yeah,
And it's very
safer.
frustrating when because I live in the Hosfords, like the Wellington Road, the areas that are adjacent to Wellington Road that feed into Wellington Road. It's very inconvenient because sometimes I don't have any cash, right? And the car needs gas, and I might have like $10 out. Happen to have $20, but maybe I wanted to put in $60 or $50 or more, right? And you have to, I only have $10 to put in the $10, and then I think there was one time. Yeah, I think there was one time actually. I think there was one time the girl actually that happened to me one time. I think the girl actually gave me the gas, and I just went back and I paid her because You know, you know,
Okay, yeah,
because
right.
afterward
No,
they see you, they're seeing you all the time, right?
right,
So,
yeah,
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 but that
yeah.
could
But,
be.
you know, it's strange. You know, I could understand that you've been using cash all the time, and um, so there's something about introducing the card now, but to go the other way where you were using card and then cut it out, that seems kind of strange.
Yeah,
That seems
yeah, it could be.
going against the grain. Yeah.
Yes. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But that story on the architect,
Mm-hmm.
I found that really
Yeah, that's my cousin.
inspiring. Oh,
Hmm.
okay.
Yeah, my cousin, first cousins
Oh,
actually. Yeah,
yeah.
we
What
grew
you
up.
gonna say now?
We
The apple
basically
don't.
we ba- we
What you gonna
basically
say? The apple
we basically grew up in the same house.
don't fall far from the tree. That's what
Something
you're gonna say.
something like that.
Okay, it's in the G's. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's an inspiring story, and one I think that we could do well to emulate here, in the sense of, to be quite honest, I am not overly impressed with the built environment here, the planning,
It's
building.
funny sometimes. It's funny. Like sometimes I wonder if you're tapping my brain or something because. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Don't stay on the line. I want because I actually earlier when we were talking about the placement of some of those gas stations, I really wanted to get into some of the urban planning shortcomings that we have here. So just
Right.
just just hang
Yeah.
on for a bit and let me take a quick break and we come back and talk about that.
Okay.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
At Dental Beginnings, where it all begins with your smile, we provide quality dental care, catering to the needs of the whole family. Where gentleness is our specialty and attention to detail is paramount. We offer cleanings, fillings, crown and bridge, root canals, extractions, digital x-rays, and sealants. Dental Beginnings, located at Victoria Road, Bastyr, St. Kitts. Call us at 869-668-1955 or 869-465-1951. Email us at dentalbeginnings@gmail.com or visit our Facebook page. Dental Beginnings. It all begins with a smile.
Who's there?
It's me!
Your future is knocking. Open the door to home ownership with the CIBC Caribbean Realtors Hub. Get pre-qualified for a mortgage, discover everything you need to know about buying a home, and connect with trusted realtors. Enjoy up to 95% financing, up to 35 years to repay, plus a pre-approved Visa Gold or Platinum credit card with 5,000 bonus points. Visit CIBCFCIB.com/Realtors Hub to get started today.
Valentine's just got better with Dreamy Florals, located at the Koi Building, Airport Road. This Valentine's, say I love you with our bouquets, balloon arrangements, roses with chocolates, and wine. We've got everything you need to celebrate this Valentine's Day. Visit us at the Koi Building at Airport Road today. Show your love with Dreamy Florals. Shop online at your convenience at stkittsnevisflorist.com. Call us at 766-9189. Place your order now and save big. This Valentine's, shop with Jimmy Florals. We deliver island-wide in St. Kitts and Nevis.
(8:44). We're back on Island Tea, and we just wanted to get into this conversation on our what I like to call our urban planning shortcomings.
Right.
Now,
Urban planning.
I want you to do the setup first, but then I'll say what I wanted to say. You do your setup.
Yeah, well, what I was saying was that I wasn't overly impressed with our buildings or planning generally. We relocate stuff, our zoning, those kinds of things. It seems too haphazard. And actually, we don't even have to look very far in terms of the design. haven't you noticed that the houses in Nevis, for instance, seem better, well, from the outside at least, better designed than those in St. Kitts?
Yeah, but I guess part of that is
As
because
a general,
yeah, you're right.
yeah,
You're right. And but then
yeah.
because they tend to have more land at their disposal. That's part of it.
Well, no. Well, of course, yeah, that's part of it, and of course, like for instance, over at Frigate Bay, I don't know if it still applies, but you can't build on more. The built part of the land should not exceed more than a quarter of the overall landscape land space. Okay?
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, it was in the regulations before. Now they've been taken over by, I think, by the general planning regulations
Yes,
and so on. So that might have changed.
And I was
But
told
that was the thing,
yeah.
and that definitely makes a difference. So you're right. Nevis, where they have more land, the aesthetics of the thing would be better,
Yeah.
right? But if you travel even among the neighboring islands, it's the same thing. So it's more than just a coincidence that somehow more thought, more artistry, more of that sort of thing goes into the planning and design, design and the architecture generally, right? And not to knock our architects, but I think they're too hit and miss, right? Some are good and some are not so good. You can't, sometimes you can look at a design and say, oh, that's a particular person's work, generally, because there's some kind of feature that they like, generally.
Yeah.
I think that's absent. It's too hit and miss, as I said.
No, I agree.
And I think one of the difficulties is that some people who make the decisions are not really professional in the sense of being technocrats in the field, right? And so you might have a politician say, oh, well, it's I want this housing project in my constituency. It has to remain in my constituency. And that becomes the overriding factor rather than things like aesthetics and drainage and all the other sort of things that come into things.
And the thing I like to say, the public good, the common good, yes.
Yeah. And you end up with all kind of strange winding road. I could never understand why a new development would have road structures like what the road structures like how I've seen some. If you go up, what's it? That area above the airport.
Gillard Meadows.
Yeah.
Well, it's not bad. Well,
in
you think? Okay, maybe I should pay attention more.
No.
Seemed fairly okay to me.
Once you're coming off the St. Peter's, once you pass the roundabout to go to St. Peter's, okay, the first left that you make there, for instance, you're going up
okay,
there.
on that side, okay.
It's ridiculous for something that is supposed to be a semi-industrial site on the left. A tractor trailer can't pass in those roads.
Yeah.
And so I guess there was intent to maximize the acreage. And so
Yes.
the roads are narrow, the verges are narrow, and that does not make for good services.
But to make to kind of bolster your point, and back, I'm gonna use the gas station. Now, take for example, Central Service Center was probably built when maybe we had 100 cars, maybe. And you can see throughout Bastille where parking was not even a thing that people, even Uncle T's.
Right.
Like I always look at Uncle T's and I go, I mean, Uncle T's was probably a very progressive move for St. Kitts at the time it was built. But I mean,
absolutely, I remember.
Yeah, I mean that place in front.
Everybody welcomed it. As, you know, uplifting the area and so on.
But no parking. And then you see this has become like a kind of self-reinforcing tradition where people, like to your point that you just made, people build buildings and they want to maximize the acreage, as you said, and they don't pay attention to parking. And now it's coming back to bite us in the ass.
Yeah.
Like
Another thing that you observe. Okay, you have
especially now that we have exponentially more cars. Yeah, go
right.
ahead. Mm-hmm.
But you've probably noticed that there's some places in Bastille that I guess because of how it developed, you have some properties sticking out into the road. I can think, for instance, of the one down College Street got,
College Street.
you know, where it meets Central Street.
Oh, it sticks out. You mean
When you come down College Street got
Challenger?
past
You
the
mean,
lights on Cairn Street,
mm-hmm.
and you're coming down.
Oh, you mean Miss
You see how that three-story building just sticks out in the road?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's in the grand scheme of things, it's a fairly modern, it's a fairly recent development.
Yeah.
Okay. You would think that they would not allow that to happen, but it does. It did. Okay.
Isn't that the Limo? Isn't that the Limo building?
Right. Yeah.
Which so that statement is a very loaded statement. So therein lies your reason. But go ahead.
Yes. That's true. But then, how do you explain the one by South Square Street? It was just built, just recently opened.
South Square Street.
Why would you break the sidewalk? You had you didn't have a sidewalk there before,
Mm-hmm.
but certainly you could have put the sidewalk back, or you should have extended the sidewalk coming up to the top of the road. Is that Adlam Street? I think.
Yes,
right?
I agree.
Instead, they just kept there, so you have to walk into the road now to go to the top.
Yeah.
You know, and so you wonder why in this day and age would you do something like that? I mean, it's not that they don't know any better. I don't know if you're old enough to know that the hospital wall, the CFBC wall in front of the Springfield Cemetery, that was actually right up into the road, practically right up. There was no sidewalk there.
Really?
And no, they actually tore down that wall and then we built it further in so that you got a sidewalk.
Oh.
So it isn't that it can't be done. You know?
That's terrible.
Same thing along there by Baker's Corner on Pond Road. You have the sidewalk there by the traffic lights, and then you have to step out into the street.
Yeah.
I mean, these are things that you would think that if you're rebuilding or you can certainly reconstruct.
I agree.
To make things safer for pedestrians.
I mean, and you know, and what I have noticed is that the poor urban planning from way back when it's a self-reinforcing phenomenon, because every decade passes and people still keep doing nonsense. You would have thought, you would have thought, like you said just now, you would have thought somebody here says dunce planning. I totally agree. A commenter, yeah, you would have thought that as the country got more open and people traveled more, the country got more cosmopolitan, these things would change, but no.
No, they keep the same old thing, and even though I don't know. Well,
do you realize, right?
That there's an overall plan for what traffic flows and so on might look in 10, 20 years. Is there, in putting in new projects and putting down new buildings and so on, is there space for something like a highway? Or do we have to relocate people or communities in order to build that in the future?
I feel
in other words, I'm not so sure there's an overall master plan of how the place should look in the next 10, 20, 50 years.
I agree.
Right? And I think that's unfortunate. A lot of it, I suspect, is political pressure. build this thing and build it now and build it there.
Yeah, but we need some.
Just like the old road there. I'm sure you've heard me harp on this all the time. The old road there, build it now. Do this. Take it. Stop letting the stones run off the hill and kill people, and no thought into traffic flows in the future, or what may be needed, or the climate change and rising sea levels and all that. Why would you put a coastal road when you can go over the hill or tunnel or do whatever?
Well, one of the things, yeah, exactly. One of the things I had thought, well, I like to game out these things in my head, but then I remember I mentioned it to an engineer friend of mine. I actually thought they were going to, like with Old Road Bay, I actually thought they were going to fill up the crescent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because to me that would have been a more practical thing to do. But then he was telling me that there would have been some hydrodynamic issues with the sea and so, in terms of how the tides would affect the coastline, because it would have changed certain things and so on. But I thought it would have been nice if they filled in the crescent from, you could say, the consummation end, and basically a straight line across to what's the place called? Spratnet, right?
Spratnet.
You would have ended up with more land. The road,
usable land.
Yeah.
Because as it is,
yeah.
right now, it's not usable.
Yeah, and and then I also thought that maybe they should have put another port there. Cruise ship should have been able to come in down there. You could have had another strip down there. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, and that's the whole point.
Yeah.
And some people, I guess, might get annoyed, but I don't think a lot of thought went into projects like that. I don't think a lot of thought went into something like the terminal.
In fact, one of the things I was thinking in my head was, it might have been a good idea if putting the highway up on the hill is a problem. The hill up on the mountainside there. You could have had, just as the road runs along, you could have had the road circumvent Spratnet and go around. So if you want to go into Old Road, you just drive into Old Road, but the highway could have continued around Old Road down the coastline and then maybe come, join back up somewhere further down.
Yeah, there was plans to do that. I don't know why it was abandoned, but there were plans to do, and I'm sure that it's not a huge engineering feat.
No, it's not.
To do a road there.
Exactly.
Nothing could have been worse than the peninsula and build the peninsula.
And you look at Challengers. Challengers again is a nightmare. I mean, where do people park in Challengers? you know what I mean?
It makes no sense. I mean, I don't know what the urban planners are doing. It makes no.
But
sense.
I mean, let's be fair to them, though, right? I mean,
terminal, like I always say. Okay, politician come in and promise we're going to build a new ferry terminal. We're going to build a new East Bastia terminal. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. You realize how underutilized that place is?
You mean where? Which one?
By the east side terminal.
Or the one going to Keon side?
By where the old public works was.
Yeah, but because the police are allowing people to do as they like. People standing up outside on the street. Not
the police allowing people to do as they like. Absolutely. The fact is, it's like, this university they had in the States that deliberately didn't put in the walkways, let people grass the whole area, then let people find which is most convenient and then put them in. Okay? It's the same thing here. They know what the traffic flow is like. They know how people would congregate and where they would congregate. It is not a natural thing for it to be where the eastern side terminal is. Because remember too, Hartford had tried it. Remember that area there by the gas station was supposed to be like a stop for
I see.
Yeah,
I didn't realize
and it's right next door to it. That didn't work out. So why did you think
I
that
did
they
not know
putting
that.
there would have been would have worked out? Made no sense.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it could have been a stop, a sheltered stop, but not a terminal.
But where would you have put the you think it should have been one central terminal?
I think it should have been one central terminal
So
for the
then-
whole island.
So like a
you
landfill. So a big.
You could go to that terminal and get a bus to anywhere on the island without putting additional terminals. And now they're planning one
But St.
for-
Peter's. But
for
St.
one
Peter's
for,
as well.
St. Peter's.
But St. Peter's too.
Yeah, where they
mean-
planning to put the thing, the St. Peter's terminal should just be another bus stop, right?
Okay.
Where the buses from start at so you're coming from Nevis. In order to go to St. Peter's, you mean you have to come to the St. Peter's bus terminal first?
Yeah, I see your point.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I see your point. I see your
I don't
point.
know what they're thinking when they do things
But
like
then you know what they would have had to do, and we've talked about this before. They probably, which is another one of the things I was thinking. You could have had you would have required maybe doing a big landfill, making the landfill area, the reclaimed land area along the Bay Road in that
the
vicinity.
market.
Yeah, because then you would add parking for the market, because that's one of the problems the market has. I
Yeah.
think there's no parking for the market. You actually, even though
even with that, right? There's no reason why all the buses should be inside the terminal at the same time. Okay, if you had some kind of queue system, and you had areas like in other places, you have areas for if you're going west, if you're going east, you're going to St. Peter's, going to Bird Rock or Frigate Bay.
but then don't you need you need a bigger footprint for that though? So which is what we were.
No, but that's the whole point. Ideally, yes, a bigger footprint. But the other thing could be the way that it is organized, so that you only have a few buses in the terminal at any one time. You always have a bus. In other words, they queue somewhere else.
Okay.
There's no reason for them to queue inside the bus terminal. I know that some people only like particular buses. Well, then let them wait until the particular buses end up in the queue inside the terminal. But they can queue elsewhere. They don't have to queue in the terminal. You know?
Yeah.
But
then
it is what it is when it comes.
but you know here,
And you know the main cause of this, I think, politicians are not technocrats. Right?
yet they still think they know,
Politicians-
yet they still think they know everything. Yet they still think they know everything.
Apart from knowing everything, they just think in terms of their narrow
Exactly that.
constituency as opposed to
That
the good of the country generally.
that's
So they
that.
want to squeeze as many houses in their constituency as possible so they can give them out. They want some kind of development in their constituency, even though
It doesn't make
not
sense.
the ideal place
Yes,
for it.
exactly.
Those kinds of things. And the technocrats, that is why we can't be too hard on the planners and architects and so on. The technocrats cannot stand up to them. They are tasked with making sure you have 50 houses in this area of the constituency. Just do it, come hell or high water.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And sometimes
You know?
we
So they forget all their training, all their urban planning stuff, and have to conform to the wishes of the politician. And
yeah, I agree.
the net result is we end up in chaos.
I agree. Here's one thing I was thinking. I thought about this. You know the iConnect, right? The other
Yeah.
boat ferry.
Right.
That's not boat ferry. What I'm saying, car ferry. You know that pier down. You know that pier down at Fort Lands. That I don't know who started building it, but well, I think they said it was supposed.
OTI.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a breakwater for them to create a beach, a small little cove
Right.
there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was thinking, right? And the thing is, even if they did this, if someone decided to do a land reclamation along from there eastward towards the ferry terminal, it could still be doable. But I was thinking, I came down on the boat during Carnival. It left Charlestown, so I was thinking it would have been nice if that was further developed and they could have built a port there, You know, like a
for,
dock.
for iConnect.
Yeah, and that
The
would be a
thing
good place. Huh?
But bear in mind though that the idea of a car ferry between the two islands, is to use the road network in both islands. It's not. I don't think it's intended for, because you have the Peninsula Highway.
But I'm saying it could just be an option, just as they do in Nevis, where sometimes
sometimes it goes to Charlestown, sometimes to
yeah,
Long Point.
it goes to
and so
Long
on.
Point, yeah, and then that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. So you connect right in Bastia as
Exactly.
an option.
So you have that you have
It
that
doesn't have to
option.
be a
Because
daily thing. It could
because
be,
as much as maybe you want to take your car, you might not necessarily want to drive all the way down there, right? You know what I mean? So you could have a day or two where
I don't think you want a nice, bright, shiny vehicle on being faced to the sea blast for any length of time.
I don't. But it's only an hour.
The distance between the peninsula, at the end of the peninsula and Nevis, 2 miles. That's enough. You know, you don't want to go all 11 miles.
But I also think that might be better for commercial traffic, though. From Bastia might be better, because it might not necessarily. I would argue it's not necessarily the best thing to be driving those trailers on the Southeast Peninsula
that's
from a
true.
safety standpoint. That was the
That is
first
true.
thing I thought. I said, we've never had anything happen, but I just always felt it wasn't really the best thing to be driving, going up Timothy Hill,
That is true.
going up Timothy Hill with a truck full of blocks,
Coming down. Have happened.
Yes.
Remember
Really?
One, yeah.
You see,
Remember
I didn't even
one of
know.
those large tractor trailer things went into the area where what they call that new food place. area
Oh, it was like a cargo thing.
there. Yeah.
Oh, I just thought it was a regular car. Okay.
No, it wasn't just a car. It was a heavy duty.
Okay,
truck
so
or
see,
something like that.
making my
Yeah.
point there, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because it's coming around a curve in the first place and very steep downhill.
Yeah.
That's really asking for a disaster at some point.
And then,
So, yeah, you're right.
yeah,
Something
and then
like, things like those, really, and in a sense, that used to happen when you used to have the Sea Hustler. You remember?
yes, absolutely. Wait, still
Yeah.
happens. It still happens. People take the
Oh, it
stuff
still-
down there.
it
Yeah,
still
every now
runs,
and
is
then.
it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they drive on to the thing, and so I feel like that would be a better option for if they don't want to bring the Iconic there by the ferry terminal, because it probably takes up a lot of space and so on compared to the other boats. I feel like that's an option. A much safer option.
Yeah. It would be good though. Yeah. If again there's an overall development plan for down there, Irishtown Bay Road. It looks terrible. And that's the thing. You can do things which doesn't necessarily take a hell of a lot of money.
Exactly.
If, for instance, you make that section of the Bay Road a boulevard and hide some of those raggedy buildings with landscaping, with palms or whatever. Let the gentrification process take its course. You don't have to trouble that.
Yeah.
But at least you present a better look when you're entering the port of Bastia.
Yeah.
Okay, and I still feel the idea that
Jonelle?
OTI had
Oh, okay.
developing the beach.
I thought you were talking about
Sure.
the boardwalk stuff, and so go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. You can put a boardwalk
Yeah,
there
exactly,
after-
exactly.
right.
Along with all that other stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, right? And still puts you the idea of a good beach down there close to OTI. I
Exactly.
think all that happened there, I think, was that it was too open, so you would need a breakwater,
Yeah.
which really and truly is needed to protect Irishtown generally anyhow.
Yeah. I wonder if people.
Okay.
I wonder if people go down there to seabed. Because when
I've seen people in there.
Oh,
too.
good, 'cause when you
but
think-
that's the other thing. To do
Yeah.
those kind of things, you would need a sewage system for just the Bastia area where you have those. You see where you have those big underground thing crossing the road, the drainage
yeah,
that drains into the sea.
yeah.
Have pumping stations there and a sewage plant.
Wait. So
Okay.
you're saying sewage goes on into the sea from that area?
Raw sewage goes down
What?
into the sea. I wonder how people.
I didn't know that.
Why they still allow people to bathe there, knowing all the chemicals and so on that we use.
Oh my God, I had no
You know,
idea.
so
But
so,
then,
but
but then
again,
don't the gardens apartments, don't they have doesn't they have a treatment plant?
oh no, yeah, that's a
That's
treatment plant
that's
across
separate, but
there.
but
I'm
otherwise,
talking about,
there's just raw sewage going now. Yeah.
Otherwise,
Wow.
when we say not rusted, meaning not the like toilets and so on are not connected to that. But I'm talking about from baths and sinks and those kinds of things. I mean, you remember when you had the restaurant there by the circus there, how cross they used to smell with all that grease and so on. All that, there was no, all that went in, goes into the sea.
Wow,
Right?
I didn't realize.
And you have to wonder. And the thing is, we've been talking forever about a sewage plant. We're about the only place in the Caribbean that don't have a sewage system for at least the central part of the capital.
Wouldn't
We
it
have
be
this open drains thing, which I don't know.
Wouldn't it be difficult? It would be difficult to retrofit now, though, right? I mean, where would you?
I don't. I asked somebody who knows about sewage systems that, and they say it would be because of the topography. It's gently sloping down to the sea and so on. It would be very easy to apply.
Okay.
Okay. All you need at the and there are some low-tech solutions as well. If you just put strainer baskets that are maintained regularly at those major entry points into the sea, okay, that itself would help.
Okay.
But an actual sewage, it would need a pumping station there, okay, from those, because they're probably about what? I'm sure there's less than a dozen entry points for Greater Bath there. That goes there. Put the pumping station and treat the sewage before it goes into the sea. That place has to be unfit for, and the health department should really be taking samples of there and issuing warnings, just like how they do in other places, unsafe to bathe because of chemical levels and those kinds of things.
Yeah.
But we don't bother with that, and it's a health risk.
Yeah.
For anybody I know, traditionally, we're accustomed, the kids are accustomed to just wearing their clothes and jumping into the sea and so on.
Yeah, for real.
Nice tradition, yes.
For real.
But not these days. I don't think it's all
safe.
that healthy
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, I agree. I agree because I was thinking earlier. I know I used to see people down there, and as far as we can tell, nothing came of it as far as their long-term health and so. But to your point,
We don't know. That's the whole point.
Well, we don't know. Yeah, that's true. We really don't know.
We really don't know. It requires extensive research, long-term. Just like I think we made the point about the sugar factory and the area where you live.
Yeah.
And I grew up and so on. That the sugar factory, which used to use asbestos and all that kind of thing. I mean, when we had the ash coming there, that over the years that must account for something.
I agree.
If it's recognized to be bad now, and we used to just live right on it,
I remember. You're right. Because I remember, it's funny, I was thinking about this last week because we have a pigeon peas tree in our yard, right? And I picked some Sunday morning, actually cooked some of them on Sunday. And when I was picking them, I remember when I was a kid up in Dorset, by my mother's house, we had like 4 or 5 pigeon peas trees in the yard. And when you pick them because of the sugar factory, your hands will be black when you pick them, and when you shell them, your hands will be black because there was soot on the. You remember?
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah, I remember the screens that we had.
Yeah.
Mosquito screens. I mean, they trapped some of the soot, but in a day or two, they're dirty again. Totally. Dirty again.
You're right.
I mean, that could not be healthy.
You're right.
To be quite honest.
And I remember, boy, it's funny. I even remember. Listen, even when we moved up there, and this goes towards noise pollution now. I remember a few years ago, before we started to build, right? And I remember we going up there one time, and I was listening to the power station. I said, "Why?" So we're gonna be hearing all that noise. But I must say, it has gotten a lot quieter since they've added the new
Yeah,
engines.
yeah,
It has
yeah.
gotten a lot quieter. So you're there and you don't even really hear anything, which is
Oh, okay.
good. Yeah, it's gotten
I guess it
quieter.
depends on the wind direction too.
No, but it is, even when I'm close, it's much quieter than it used to be. It used to be very very noisy. And
Yeah,
then on
that's
top,
true. When you
yeah.
passed there, you knew that there was a power station there.
Hmm. And even
Yeah, that's true.
and then even when the factory was running, I mean, imagine all that noise, the factory machinery running, and then these
Right.
older, louder generators running. It was pretty noisy.
Yeah, I mean, it was impressive. Honestly, it was impressive. The noise and looking at the machinery and so on. I mean, that was high tech for its time,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
but like everything else, it changed and
It's almost it's almost as though there's something to that thing that says what you don't know won't hurt you, because I mean, probably this is the first time I even really thought about that. And I think I tend to think about these things when you talked about that ash just going into the atmosphere, and
Yeah.
that must have had an effect on people. But I never really, back then, no one
nobody thought about that. I mean,
stuff. Yeah.
it was a great industry. It was everybody's bread and butter, and so that was the least. Nothing like environmental stuff and climate change and those kind of things factored in then. But
And I'm
I
sure.
am
Yeah.
pretty sure. That
I'm
it must
sure.
have had,
I'm even thinking, I'm sure NACO and SSMC used to use they must have used some problematic, even herbicides and so on at times. And again,
Yeah.
nobody probably thought about.
right. That eventually proved to be that they don't use now
Yeah.
because it was regarded as dangerous. Chemicals that were regarded as dangerous. Back
Yeah.
then, they were seen as the panacea for pests and so on. But now that more research has been done, you realize that those things were carcinogenic and so on.
Yes.
Right? But at least now we have a cleaner. We're more aware now about those things. Okay. So it's nice that at least they have like Bureau of Standards and those kinds of things to check for those things.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not a free for all anymore like once ago.
Well, I hope so, because I hope they're doing their work, because
Well,
I remember asking questions about how often they do water assays and so, and I never.
Well, you do see the water engineer at least at that level, technicians going up to check on the reservoir. I assume that's part of their usual detail. I mean, I remember the one up Timothy Hill. I used to go for early morning walks up there.
Oh.
Religiously, they would be going up there. I suppose to measure water levels as well, but
Yeah.
I would hope that they at least
Water
do-
quality as well. Yeah.
Yeah. But you know what? This stuff, when you say you hope that they're still doing these things, you know what that dovetails into?
What?
Dwyer Astafan's commentary for this week.
Oh, it's
I don't
funny
know
you
if
say.
you've
I
heard
was
it.
actually planning to play that. So
Because,
I might play it in the
basically
next half hour.
What he's saying,
Yeah.
it's interesting. I'm sure a lot of one of the, shall we say, good things about Trump's approach to things, that DOGE thing, Department of Governmental
Efficiency.
Government Efficiency,
Yeah.
DOGE, right? I know there are anecdotal things, hilarious things that they might uncover and so on. But deep down, there is waste in government. And what Astafan's commentary was pointing out was it exists here throughout government operations as well. The procurement things, the way things are operated. And as he said, if they leave too much open to corruption, and you can bet your life, if there are openings there, people going to find ways to game
Yes.
the system.
Yes.
Okay, but my thought was when I heard this, who will bell the cat? Which politician is going to take the kind of put their foot down and things like that, when in fact they're benefiting
Yes.
from, whether it be kickbacks or cronyism or whatever.
Yeah.
They regard it as an essential feature of our political way of doing business, right? That is the clincher. Who will bell the cat?
Yeah.
You know, they don't know what's going on, right? But who will bell the cat? That's the big question.
One of the things that I wanted you brought up Timothy Hill back to I wanted to go back just to the urban planning thing for a bit. Timothy Hill, I always wondered why USA didn't, well, not USA, the government. The Southeast Peninsula Road was funded by USA.
Yes, yeah.
I always wondered why they didn't just drill a tunnel.
In the first place, yeah.
I thought that would have made more sense because that hill is very hard on vehicles, and I know I've spoken to tourists, for example, who they'll come and they'll rent one of those dinky little things, those glorified lawnmowers, right?
Yeah.
It's hot. It's hot. And I say lawnmower because they're really lacking in power,
yeah,
right?
No, they look.
Yeah. And they want to run the AC, and you're going up that grade. And the poor, in fact, I had some family here, and they had rented a car, and they're driving behind me, and I had to stop a few times. I literally had to stop for the car to catch its breath.
Well, to be quite
Their car, not my car. Their car to catch its breath. Yeah.
but to be quite honest,
And
it makes for some really nice scenery when you're driving, eh?
I agree.
Going up there and then
Up there's gorgeous.
Going through the tunnel and then the whole of the
Yes.
so
It doesn't.
it does make
For real.
for that. But yes, it's tough on vehicles. It should have been. They eventually had to use that material.
Yeah, to
to
cover
create
it.
the tunnel anyway.
But Mac, I
Right?
just realized. I was like, why didn't they drill a tunnel? But when you came with that reason, I'm completely cool with backing off of the tunnel. To be honest,
it really
that view,
made for some scenic-
I'm telling you, that view
makes
doesn't
really,
get old.
Both ways, when you're going up
And when you're coming
and
back,
then you look over at the peninsula, and when
Yeah.
you're coming back,
Oh
especially
my
at night,
God, it's
and you
gorgeous.
look over to
Yeah.
Frigate Sector, really
for real,
beautiful.
yeah.
It does make a difference like that.
Yeah, but
know?
I just wish if the urban planning people I just feel like you guys need to put your foot down a little more with the ministers because they don't know everything, and you have
don't know everything. It's not their field.
well, exactly.
Like
It's not, well,
almost
yeah, that's what I mean. They
know
don't.
any
Yeah,
better.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
yeah.
There's
I
no
mean,
excuse for the planners who've been trained to do the right things and impress on them that, hey, this is not best practice. This is not the modern way of doing things.
yeah. I mean,
You know?
as much as there was a little controversy about National Bank going up to Burdock and so on. We need a lot more of that. A lot more decentralization. I mean, National Bank having that branch up there.
But do they have
But
backing up there?
I was coming to that. So yeah, there's still shortcomings because they have like three. I think they have like 3 parking spots. Oh wait, they have a parking off to the right when you're going up, which I'm assuming that might be for
that
the
belongs to,
staff.
the
Oh,
lot
and-
that lot.
Or the other
somebody's
people in the
lot.
building, I don't know, because it's not the
Yeah.
bank alone, right? Yeah, so yeah, there's that. But-
yeah. But I don't know. We just, as you said, we commit bad things and we just
And we
keep on
continue
doing
it.
them. It's just like we had those old tractor paths for roads, and we just follow them. Don't mind if they curve.
Yes,
in
good
disgusting
point.
ways and
Good
so on.
point. Good point. Good point.
The closest distance between 2 points is a straight line.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. I mean,
And
like keys.
over time-
Keys.
and
There
change
is
it
no
up, you know.
reason. Keys, there's no reason to have that ridiculous bend in that road there.
But look at that bend.
It's ridiculous.
That's the classic case. You know, totally ridiculous. And we just keep fix the island main road, and we just keep there and at least.
Yeah,
Absolutely
there's
no
no reason. And there's a weird one in
reason to
Sadlers
do
too. There's one in Sadlers where you go around this weird
down thing too.
Challenger. Yeah, that again.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
You could keep the old road if you're feeling nostalgic and so on.
Yeah,
Keep
because
the old
you
road
could
with
use
the stone wall and
exactly.
so on,
Yeah,
but use that as one lane and build a modern
highway
structure
area that
for the other
goes
lane.
maybe goes over the sea or up on the mountainside or whatever.
No, right next to it could be right next to the existing curve.
Yeah.
It's just that it's safer. It's much safer. Okay, you just use the existing road as one lane, and the other lane that you'd construct.
Really? How would
Would
you? I'm trying to picture
That's
that.
easy for any
Keys? You mean
engineering
keys?
thing. Keys. Why can't you? Okay, you know how the road curves around.
Yeah,
here,
yeah.
Keys, right? Why can't you put some steel girders across the gut?
Yeah, that's what I meant. But the way you
Right,
explained
yeah.
it sounded like you were saying something else. Oh.
No.
And then just merge into the same road.
And then merge again. Right.
Okay.
You know, if you want to feel nostalgic or you're saving money and so on, so you don't want the
But wouldn't it be better? Wouldn't it be better to have a vaulted section of highway? Okay, you take the bridge across
sure,
there.
but it will cost more.
Well, this is what needs to be done. I mean, you know, we have to bite the bullet. And there are a lot of places that need that. Challengers, Old Road.
Yeah,
you
there are
know,
a number of places that really need that.
you know.
The more controversial one that I think we needed, which other people, I know I mentioned it before, and other people said, no way. To me, Keon Street by the guts,
Yeah.
right? It should be one level going across, and
On a tunnel.
the water should have been diverted from those guts a long time ago, anyway. And so, in other words, you don't go down into the gut and then come back up, right?
You just
I
try-
remember, and this is way back in school days, you know. I remember people coming here on camps and saying, "Hey, think it's do things differently. They go down into the gut and then come back up, as opposed to going over the gut." I always remember that, and then, I mean, that's since back in school days.
But
Which makes sense. There's no reason why we have to continue that, but
it would be
It got to be
difficult.
there
But it
forever.
would be difficult, though, right? I mean, Westbourne Gut would be difficult. College.
Westbourne.
Well,
But
explain.
even Westbourne got hardly runs anyway. Nowadays,
Well,
you know.
yeah, and it's not really that much of a dip anyway. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
and it's
true.
not but College Street itself, the College Street is laughable, to be quite honest.
But how would you
This day and
how would
age
you
we're
fix
doing
that? How would you fix that?
If you notice, the buildings right by that junction are actually elevated. So if you come straight across, you would not be intruding on access to those buildings, right?
I see
How
a-
you would then connect the road is by, if you have a culvert underneath, in the middle as it is right now, but on either side you're still able to pass. So you still have access on both the northern and southern section.
But that
from
looks to
Kearn
me.
Street.
But that looks to me like you would have some limitations with vehicle height, especially
Vehicle height?
not
Oh.
north south. I mean.
No, that's what I'm saying. There are ramps that go up to the new Kearn Street level. Ramps, in other words, you see where you have the middle thing for the waterway,
Yeah.
right? There's enough space on either side to have ramps that's leading up to.
Yeah, but what
a
I'm saying is,
level
let's
Kearn
say,
Street.
but let's say, let me think of it. Let's say a box truck maybe is going up to St. Peter's, and it's coming up the gut. You really think there's enough space?
Yeah,
I mean, without disrupting
disrupting
business, without disrupting, say, business and egress in business egress for, let's say, Miss
You still have the
Carl
lights
Bourne's
there.
mother on the south, the Morton building on the north by the Anglican Church.
Right. Look at the height. Remember, the wall comes all the way down. How would raising the level affect that? If you look, in other words, what you're doing, you see where you have the steps to go down on both. Well, all four places have these steps. It comes pretty much straight across. It does not affect access to any of those buildings.
Oh, I think I see what you're saying now. So then that means, for example, going up or down, you might just have to go up a little incline when you're going. I guess that could work, maybe.
Yeah, you're right. You just have to go up a little incline.
A incline to cross
the new
Canal
level.
Street. Yeah, okay.
Of course, it can work.
I guess.
But, I mean, College Street has been there forever, so you got to keep it there forever. Even though we modernize it and put lights there, we got to take into account this dip in the road. I mean, very few places
I know.
think have that now.
I know. I had some radical thought experience concerning Anglican Church, and I would probably be in the blasphemy books right now. I think I spoke about them before.
I'm an Anglican, so be careful.
Yeah.
If you're going to be telling me that I should use it as a parking lot, no.
No. But I always thought, right? I think in keeping with modern times, I always thought that you guys could have, that big grassy area going up into the church with the steps.
Yeah.
I felt like, especially when you consider you have funerals and so on, right? I felt like, one, you could have had a big apron there where, let's say, some vehicles like a hearse and some other vehicles could drive off the road and park in front of the building. So you move the fence back. So you have kind of like a D. Think of a D, like the curved side of the D would
I
be,
understand what you mean.
yeah.
That would make for good sense. But
and put some parking off to the west.
This thing about tradition,
Yeah.
Tradition, and to be quite honest, the church look imposing, and the churchyard look imposing as it is, and I'll be very hesitant to change that.
But it could be tastefully. But it could be tastefully done.
There aren't many green areas apart from the square.
Yeah, but we're not
There
saying
aren't many green areas in the center of Bastille. What little we have, I think we should keep.
But we're not saying you won't put back any green space though. We're just saying you could do a nice tasteful kind of apron.
Loop around there,
yeah, and put back lawns and so on, and just.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
I suppose it's workable.
I know.
Understand it's probably
I know the
workable.
argument.
It would change the face of the thing.
And you could still do it in such a way that, you know how sometimes you all have things out on the lawn there, right?
Yeah.
You could still do them outside the fence or even inside the fence. But depending on what it is, you can still do it in that little apron there.
I guess with a good landscape design architect and so on, they could come up with something.
Exactly. And then the Amory side now.
Fortunately, I'll be long dead, so I wouldn't be there to say. It looks terrible compared to what it was.
And the Amory side, I feel like the southeastern area there could be, I don't know, could be.
Well, actually, they've now started to use inside there.
I know.
Once
I feel
ago,
like
that was outrageous too, because I mean, you have it was like a cemetery as well.
Yeah.
But so things change, I guess. Things change.
I think we get a little too precious with certain things in our culture, like even when they fly in the face of practicalities, like we like, oh, we can't do that, like.
Yeah. But definitely, I mean, there should be some attempt to do better urban planning than
absolutely.
we've had in the past. They absolutely need to do that, because in the fire analysis, is what's gonna, when we have visitors in particular, it's what's gonna differentiate us from other islands, right?
Yeah.
When you go around, and I mean, a lot of tourists go around to see the place and so on, whether they're on tours or if they just walk in the capital and that sort of thing. To see, and at the same time, they're making comparisons with back where they live and say, this is quaint. I mean, look at how these people still doing that the old-fashioned way and so on. Yeah, but in the final analysis, people want safe, modern structures. They want things to look good, appealing. They like to see green, not so much concrete and stone everywhere.
Yeah.
Those kinds of things.
Yeah.
It's almost universal.
I remember,
so we should get
you
to
know,
the program
yeah, I remember as a kid, we're going to take a break now and then we'll come back and get Dwyer's thing. But I remember as a kid, I used to wonder, even going to boys' school and so, I used to wonder what was the tourist fascination with Catholic Church and Anglican Church and the church. You know, you see them taking pictures, and at the time I didn't get it. I was like, what's so special about these buildings? But then as I got older, of course, I know what it is. You know, they're like the old architecture and the old old colonial architecture and all of that. So,
and by the way, it's the same thing when you go to any European tour, and you see some of these churches and so on. You see the tourists taking pictures there too, because I mean theirs are more impressive than ours.
Oh yeah,
larger. And well, you know how these old European churches look. I mean, regardless of which country you hit on a European tour, you know, there's some church that is a landmark, you know, and it's always impressive. And so it's the same thing down here. It might be on a smaller scale, but it's still very impressive, and it still represents a lot of our history.
Absolutely.
You know. Yeah.
Like you see them, you see them at the Catholic Church all the time, and the Anglican Church.
Although the Catholic Church, there are lots of examples of those in the region. Less so of the Anglican Church, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. And as a matter of fact, again, that's one of the things we don't do well. I don't know. You probably don't recall that the Anglican Church in Middle Island actually had a parapet wall. You know how those old castles had with the
Middle Island?
up-downs kind of thing?
No. I don't even know. I don't even know where it is.
At the top of the Anglican Church.
So there's an Anglican Church in Middle Island?
Of course.
Oh, I actually thought,
so
all the village, that one. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Now they went and repaired that church, right? And instead of putting back the old parapet wall at the top, okay, which was very distinctive, they went and put it looks like a galvanized type roof or steeple, if you can even call it a steeple, at the top. I was kind of vexed because I remember some long time ago making what I would have called then a significant contribution specifically to resuscitate the tower, to renovate the tower with that in mind, because I think it might have been a hurricane or an earthquake that had destroyed the top.
Is that the St. Thomas Anglican Church? Is that what?
Right.
Okay.
And you know, I was very peeved to see that they put this cheap looking stuff at the top instead of making sure that preserve the parapet.
Yeah. Okay.
You know.
Yeah.
You know. So we're very subjective when it comes to what we choose to keep and what to discard.
Yeah.
You know. I guess now that you have the National Trust and so on, they're more attuned to these kinds of things.
But then that comes with its own challenges, because you constantly.
Of course, there's always the money.
Exactly, I was just about to say,
because I understand that's one of the things that the Brimson Hill Society has right now with, because you remember those red brick archways that was distinctive. When you took up a picture of Brimson Hill back in those days, you had that red brick archway across from the parade grounds. I mean, that was a distinctive thing. I got blown over. Again, I think a hurricane or earthquake or something.
I don't even recall that. Yeah.
But it has not been
replaced.
it has not been renovated or anything like that.
Yeah.
But you just look at an old picture of Brimson Hill and you see it there. Things like that. I mean, we have so many foundations around right now. It would be nice if somebody can start one to contribute to at least renovating those iconic parts of things.
Ironically, I think it might be easier to get that money from an American foundation run by people who don't look like us than to get anyone here to pay for that. Just saying.
It's unfortunate. Like what was done. Remember, there's a story that they had many more cannons up at Brimstone Hill than what obtains at present.
Yeah, I heard Percy say that one time.
The deal was that, and some American guy comes for every cannon. Apparently, a lot of them was down at the foothills. For every cannon that he wanted, he had to carry one up to the top of the hill. That's his story, anyway. And that's how we were at least able to preserve some.
Yeah.
There were a lot more cannons on that side.
Yeah.
On the foothills down there.
Okay, let me take a quick break and then I'll come back and hear Dwyer's commentary. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Then.
Okay.
Found the sound 99.9 FM.
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust to secure your investment. You need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us. TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind. You're always safe with us.
Valentine's just got better with Dreamy Florals, located at the Koi Building, Airport Road. This Valentine's, say I love you with our bouquets, balloon arrangements, roses with chocolates, and wine. We've got everything you need to celebrate this Valentine's Day. Visit us at the Koi Building at Airport Road today. Show your love with Dreamy Florals. Shop online at your convenience at stkitsnevisflorist.com. Call us at 766-9189. Place your order now and save big. This Valentine's, shop with Jimmy Florals. We deliver island-wide in St. Kitts and Nevis.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play.
chubby with the same great taste. Lots of magic fruity flavors, drink from more healthy way.
It tastes so yummy, chubby, chubby.
25% less sugar, chubby. Be active, be healthy, drink lots of chubby. Kicking football, playing cricket, having fun in the sun.
It's chubby.
Reduced sugar, chubby keeps you cool and refreshed.
It tastes so yummy, chubby, chubby.
25% less sugar, chubby. Jumping rope, running races, have fun.
It tastes so yummy, chubby.
Drink the more healthy way.
Well, of course, it's 9:44. I wanted to share Dwyer Estevan's commentary. And of course, folks, the phone lines are always open. If someone else had called while Mac was on, I would have been able to take the call. Okay, so here we go. Dwight Asvan's commentary for this week. These usually street on Wednesdays. So here we go.
Greetings. A lady who is totally against the Labour Party recently told me that my commentaries are not balanced. Interestingly enough, a lady who I believe is a Labour Party sympathizer told me something similar. Now, I respect their opinions and I welcome them and anybody else's. But with respect also, I value truth over opinions, and nobody, despite their opinions, has ever successfully challenged the truth of what I've said over the years. I know all truth is good, as the African proverb says, but all truth is not good to say. However, when we're dealing with matters of public interest, national importance, and we know bringing the truth to power and bringing the truth to the table has risks with it. One has to be willing to face some of these risks in the public interest so that people would know and discuss, and there'll be more enlightenment and better judgment in the public to make the best decisions in their interest. So there's a risk, but some of us have to take the risk. The supply of truth, as a wise person once said, is greater than the demand for it. In other words, a lot of people don't want the truth, especially people who might be hurt by it. And a lot of us say we are Christians and we believe in what Christ said and the Bible, that the truth shall set us free. But a lot of us say it, but we don't believe it. Well, I try to live it in my own frailty and weakness. So we're going to speak about looseness in the country today, mostly in the public sector. Let's start with Social Security. Social Security issues cards to register people in its system. In the case of foreigners, a job letter is presented from an employer. I presume, but I am not sure, I presume that Social Security checks to see if the employer is duly registered with Social Security and is in good standing. I said, I presume, but I'm not sure. What I'm told is that Social Security issues cards to foreigners without formally verifying from the Ministry of National Security that these persons are legally authorized to work, and without checking immigration to see if these people are legally in the Federation. Can you imagine that? I'm also told that Social Security does not properly monitor employers to see if their job letters are genuine. It seems, from what I gather, that some people in Social Security are of the opinion that they have no legal authority to stop this practice unless the laws are changed. I disagree. All Social Security needs to do is to put it as a policy and implement it. Tighten it up. There's too much looseness. And this is a most delicate area. There is a citizen of Jamaica presently living in Jamaica for whom a work permit application was submitted and denied, but he has a Social Security card. Now, some of you might think this is a leap too far, but I have to ask this question. Does that man or any other person in his situation, a foreigner living overseas, applying for a work permit and was yet not getting the work permit, does such a foreigner receive any benefits from Social Security or any benefits from government, the payment of which are channeled through Social Security to people who have Social Security cards? We know some program that Social Security is distributing on behalf of the government. Are any of these people of whom I speak on these programs? There is too much looseness in the system. I'm not saying that they are, but I'm asking. And this looseness has been going on for many years. And I would not be surprised that if Social Security does a thorough examination of all of its operations, it will find a number of loose ends and illegalities that can be plugged and fixed. I wouldn't be surprised if they find loose ends and illegalities. and offenders, whoever they may be, must be brought to justice. The money in Social Security is the money of the people of this country. It is our nation's lifeline, and any assault on our nation's lifeline is an assault on us. We cannot sit back and take anything for granted. My second area of concern today has to do with government procurements and contracts, etc. This again is a very loose situation, and we all know that looseness opens the door for crookedness. The Attorney General has been promising the much needed new Procurements Act, following a comprehensive analysis made by the OAS in 2018 or 19. The former administration sat on the report of the OAS for years, seemingly having no appetite to clean up the procurements process. And the present administration, now in there for 2 years and counting, must act, introduce the new Procurements Act and implement it steadfastly and consistently. Here is just part of the problem with procurements. Everybody now is a contractor, and some of these non-contractors who say they are contractors are getting contracts, government contracts, and again this has been going on for years. I am told that when bids are sent in, the relevant authorities do not check to see if the bidder is in good standing with the courts, with Social Security, with the Financial Services Regulatory Commission, with Inland Revenue, with Customs, with SCASPA, with SKELEC, with Water Department, etc. I'm told that none of those checks are done. That the government may be doing business with and approving companies and other entities that do not actually exist or are being delinquent in their commitments to the government, which means delinquent in their commitments to the country, but still getting government contracts. Talk about looseness. And if I know that these things are happening, well, higher authorities than myself must know. People in both the public and private sector know. Some individuals are benefiting from it, from the looseness. And as I said, I'm not accusing, I'm just saying looseness leads to crookedness, or can lead to crookedness. My third area of concern is the quarry at Canada Estate. That is another mess. You try to get someone in authority to tell you what is there and what systems of management and control are in effect. Try to get that out of them. My fourth area of concern relates to planning. Some of the things I see happening, and again, this is not new, some of the things I see happening are incredible. I don't know how certain projects get approved. For example, why are the environmental impact assessments for the hotel we're hearing about to be erected at Friars Bay and the one at Palmetto Point? Why are the environmental impact assessments not shared with the public for our input? This is our land. We have to live here. The environmental balances must be observed for us and for our children and yet unborn descendants. Did the developers for the Palmetto Point project obtain proper permission to construct the road that was constructed along the coastline? If so, was an injunction granted against them on Monday, February 10th, 2 days ago, to stop using the road and to remove it? The government needs to have a full and independent investigation into the activities of all of these entities and institutions. Too much looseness. Many years ago, I wrote an article entitled, "When in Rome, do as the Romans. When in St. Kitts, do as you like." When are we going to get serious in this country? When are we going to become a disciplined country and put an end to this disgraceful free-for-all? Concern number 5 is SCASPA, which for years has been one of the major centers for bubble in St. Kitts. Guns and other contraband, persons benefiting from items brought in for government, and more than enough other nefarious activities. To, as we say, hothead. Look at the payment transactions and accounts for SCASPA over the years. Do a management audit, and I'm sure you will weep. Let the public see these things. It's our money. That's how democracy works. Democracy doesn't operate in the dark. Bring it to light. And who doesn't do that? We suspect something may be going wrong. Who doesn't bring things to light very likely have something to hide. All this bubble going on and nobody being made to pay for it. I'm calling on the Prime Minister to bring in a team of independent professional investigators. Let the public know and let the hammer fall on whoever it may fall, friend or foe. We are either cleaning up the country or not. This is no halfway business. Neither SCASPA nor any other government entity is owned by any political party, any politician, or any politician's friend. And we must end the culture which has us behaving when we are in power as if the government and all in it are ours to do with as we please. We need to eradicate this culture of irresponsibility, inefficiency, and corruption that is plaguing us. The viability and integrity of our government institutions are under attack, which means that we are all under attack. We have to stop it. Concern number 6. This has been a major problem for many years. Investigations have been done and reports submitted showing massive corruption in relation to customs. But not a thing has been done about these reports. It is time that all of this mismanagement and corruption are cleaned up, and time, let me repeat myself, for the perpetrators to face justice. Concern number 7, the CBI, citizenship by investment. A number of persons, local and foreign, wearing one political color or another, have benefited from ill-gotten gain from the CBI, most notably from the jail project. Many of them have been allowed to remain in business. Hundreds of millions of US dollars remain out there that should have been in the hands of the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. There are documents available which can, by way of comparison, give an insight as to whether, and if so, to what extent, people have defrauded the country. So why are we not into this like sharks so that we can nail those who have robbed us? Why? Cleaning up can't be a halfway thing. And this brings me to the DPP, the Director of Public Prosecutions. If the present administration is genuinely committed to end the corruption, they will have to ensure that the DPP is properly facilitated and tooled up. He has already demonstrated a commitment and a proactiveness that none before him could match. And he must be allowed to extend his crosshairs to include white-collar criminals without interference or frustration of any description. Mr. Prime Minister, no predecessor of yours had the commitment and the guts to appoint an investigative team and to engage in a thorough cleanup. None of them. My question is, do you have the commitment and the guts? I am betting that you do, but I want to see it happen. Do you know the greatest incentive to attract proper investment and respect to a country? The incentive is wrapped in efficiency and good government. Clean up the mess. The Parliament recently increased penalties for gun offenders and road offenders. What about offenders in government offices and facilities and in the private sector from top to bottom and their accomplices? I can go on and on and on. I've just named some of the areas of concern, but I think you get the point. I doubt whether the two ladies to whom I referred earlier will approve this one, but it is what it is. God bless them. Until next time, Jah bless.
Yeah, so that's Dwight's commentary. And Gwyneth, when Mac referenced Dwight's commentary earlier, you said, say it as it is, Mac, looseness. So I guess maybe Gwyneth may have heard the commentary as well. So I got a few minutes. Anyone wants to call in away and tell me what they think of Dwyer's words? I think he's making a lot of sense as usual. But sometimes the truth is inconvenient, and it causes discomfort. To the people who the truth might be being spoken about us. So I absolutely agree that he just referenced. I like that point he just made about making the traffic safety laws and so on stronger, and he also said, well, how about you go ahead and do the same thing for people in public office? And I totally agree. Caller, What you say?
Good morning, Jamster. How are
Hey,
you
what's
doing?
up? I'm good.
You know, a higher percentage of the time, Goya is always on point, you know. And I think that he should be very well commended for highlighting these issues that will benefit all people and not some. And even though one may not like the things that he pointed out, because you might be getting quick benefit, in the long run, the whole country will benefit if certain steps are taken to make sure that lots of these things are done. And once you point out those are only few, those are only minor things that need to be looked at and to be dealt with. So it is really true that these things are happening and everybody is seeing it. And if we can see those things, imagine the things that we can't see. The things we can't see are probably worse than those things that we are seeing.
Absolutely.
So I think there's a lot of work to be done, but who is bold enough and strong enough to bell the cat to make sure that these things don't continue happening? And there are some people who are really benefiting very highly at the expense of all the people who should benefit. There's so much things that we could do, we can develop if we stop the leak. And if we stop the leaks, then we'll be in a better position. Then it will put us in a better position not to add increase taxes if the leaks are stopped. I mean, take for instance, I would add to it the Treasury building that's been plywood up for so many. Come like Columbus was here when it was plywood up, and it's still like that. Tourists don't even go to the Bass Day Circus anymore because they don't go near plywood. They think it's under construction and it's something to keep them away. So
Yes.
people always ask about what happened to the place where you can go and find information, and it's boarded up. Nobody doing anything. It's sometimes it appears that everything is at a standstill. Why so? What is it?
I saw.
I mean, everybody going home with their salary every month.
Yeah, I saw an article somewhere referencing the state of the the Treasury the museum being closed, and also referencing the Bradshaw project that was supposed to the Bradshaw residence project that was supposed to be finished, and kind of was conflating the two and saying, well, look at these things. Why are these things? These things they were crowing from the mountain tops about them, and no, I absolutely agree, and it also shows that boy, it also shows that maybe there's something in our culture where we don't seem to have any respect for our patrimony, our history, and its preservation, and its let's say veneration even. The Treasury has been Treasury, keep saying Treasury. The museum has been closed for and that I know. When I go in there, there were always tourists in there, and my kids used to go down there on Saturdays. I know they used to do book reading and so on, and I myself, I remember going there and being blown away by some of the stuff I found out, right? And here we are, all these years later, and still nothing. And
man, you're ashamed. Sometimes people ask you about it, and you're ashamed to answer. You're ashamed.
Yeah.
Because of the longevity of the time that it being closed. It's such a long time. And I wish somebody will. You know what? Well,
and you,
I can't be a politician because I do get over the hill, kind of angry too easily sometimes. But the Prime Minister have to get vexed and say, "Do your damn job and don't get come in front of me and go do what you're being paid to do."
But part of the problem
everybody
too.
being paid every month.
But part of the problem, no. But I mean, you have to lay some blame at the people at the top, because you hear the people from Brimson Hill and the people from the National Trust bemoan how difficult it is to get the funds that are needed for the renovation, and all these things, all of these things that would have been maybe forthcoming in a culture that was more respectful of its historical patrimony and all of that, right? I mean, they talk about well, we've been trying to get this money to fix up the museum, and it there's nothing forthcoming. It's like I said to Mac earlier. If I'm sure if you approach one of those foundations in the U.S., maybe someone who just happened to come here for vacation or something, I'm sure if someone actually approach one of those foundations that say fund NPR and PBS and so on, they'll quicker get the money than than where it really should be coming from. You know.
We things are not happening. Things. I mean, just the other day they passed some heavy stiff penalties, but you know where those penalties are gonna come down and to the regular citizen. You notice they have not even when people try to follow the rules and drive from one part of the country to another, 40 miles an hour, 20 miles an hour to villages. You become really stagnant and crawl like a staggerback for these kind of vehicles. They did not even increase the speed limit.
Oh,
because you should,
okay.
when you go into a village, you should be able to have the privilege to do 25 or 30 miles an hour through a village. And when you're outside the village where you have 40, you should be able to increase from 40 to 50 or maybe 55 or 60 if you like.
I see your point.
Because the thing is, you cannot take away and you're not giving. We having about 60-something people coming to think it's soon who will be deported. And they're going to have an impact on this country whether you like it or not. Because you see, a few people drive like recklessly, cause so much injuries and damage. And everybody in sync is now have to feel the penalty. So these are the things that happen when one or two people pass one gas. Everybody in the room smell it. And we didn't pass the gas. And some reason or another, because somebody failed to deal with those actors, those bad actors, everybody had to feel the penalty. It can't be right. And Dwyer is right. I mean, check the quarry. Look at the quarry. Everybody digging everywhere they want to go. Everybody breaking up the landscape what they want and what they think is best. It's like free for all, do as you like. I mean, what kind of situation this? This don't make no sense. The poor boy minister must be the cringe when he see things like that happening. Because people are not functioning. They're in position, but they're not functioning.
But I have to pull you up there. The Prime Minister is powerless. The Prime Minister is not one of us. The Prime Minister is the one.
But you see, when you're in charge, people look for you. There's some people cannot function without getting directive,
I agree.
Sometimes when you're doing things and you're in charge, you have to take the bull by the hand. You have to. You got no choice. You either get it done or you can't get it done. Tell me, let me get somebody else. You have to think because time is limited and it's running out. Whether you like it or not, the clock a tick, the clock a tick, the clock a tick. And why is the clock ticking? Everybody's sitting down and fiddling the thumb and nothing is happening. Those are the issues. And they right before your eyes. You could see them, everybody could see them, everybody complaining and everybody talking to each other. But who you're speaking to can't do a thing about it. So somebody who can do something about it better jump up to the plate and act. Play your part. Do your thing. Do what you have to do for the benefit of all. And sometimes you have to deny yourself and do things for others so that it will come back to benefit you. It's not all about myself and about me. It's about all of us. And since we are in the same boat, we may as well do something that benefits all.
Yeah.
I think it's enough, Johnson.
Okay.
Oh, my God.
Right.
But
Well said.
I mean, they are really on point and really interesting. Some good comments. And there are some things that we need patching up. And they need to be fixed. Not tomorrow, yesterday. That is to show the urgency of them.
I agree.
Have a good day, sir.
Okay, great. Yeah, Dwyer touched a lot of things that are worth examining and fixing. So I think I'm gonna close it down now. It would have been nice, if we could have gotten even some more engagement. But we can always continue the conversation tomorrow. Tomorrow is Valentine's Day. I imagine some of you would prefer to talk about things romantic things romantic rather than things distressing. Because some of these governance indicators that Dwyer brought up definitely distressing and probably cause a lot of frustration. I know a lot of these things cause frustration for me. We talked, me and Mac Mahon talked this morning about some of planning and our planning and zoning shortcomings. Dwyer outlined some others, which I hope will be food for thought going forward tomorrow. So you guys can, we like balance. We can talk about love. We can talk about romance. We can also talk about, we all live in this country, and we want things to be run better. And I think it's incumbent on everyone to talk about the things in good faith. Talk in good faith about the things that you would like to see done better. I mean, Dwyer gave us a lot of food for thought with that commentary. So, hoping that you guys will come back tomorrow and we have a nice balanced discussion tomorrow. Talk about love and everything else. So, that's going to do it for today's edition of Island Tea. Don't forget to join us tonight at 8 o'clock for Money Matters. We're going to have a very special episode. The episode this week was about reparations and so on. The money aspects of that. Dr. Terence Martin was joined by an economist from Antigua and Barbuda. Very interesting discussion, actually. So we're going to have that rerun tonight at 8 o'clock. So join us tonight. Okay, so we'll be back tomorrow. Cortensia will be back with me tomorrow on Island Tea, and we're gonna have a lovely show tomorrow. So everyone, have a great day in the meantime.